In the past few months, the armed resistance against the Syrian government has increased throughout the country. There have been suicide bomb attacks against the government and the security forces. And increasingly, some elements of the Free Syrian Army have begun making their own bombs. CNN has obtained from opposition activists video showing just how these crude but devastating devices are being put together by one so-called brigade of the Free Syrian Army. And we have decided to air these images because they are part of mounting evidence that the opposition in Syria is becoming more like an Iraq-style insurgency and threatening to push the nation ever closer to an all-out civil war. Most of the clips start with a Quranic verse, followed by the title of a group calling itself the Dawood Brigade of the Damascus Hawks Division. Hardly audible below the swelling jihadi chorus, a voice says, "This is a suicide bombing mission against Assad's soldiers in Idlib." "God is great," the voice declares as a van comes into view, apparently approaching a checkpoint. The camera zooms in. This is one of several clips posted to YouTube by the brigade. The videos are very similar in tone to those that came out of Iraq, as Al-Qaeda allied insurgents there took on the U.S. military. But this is Syria today. Outgunned by Assad's forces, some rebels have turned to suicide bombs and roadside IEDs, Iraq-style guerrilla warfare. Their bombs crude, yet extremely effective. In this video, obtained exclusively by CNN, the Dawood Brigade commander, Captain Dawood Hassan Mahmoud, shows how the bombs are made. Cylinders are packed with a lethal concoction of explosives, fertilizer, and other chemicals bought locally. "We don't want to name them so that the government doesn't confiscate them from the market," Captain Mahmoud says. Bolts are fixed to the top of the canisters. Once detonated, they will be lethal shards of shrapnel. Wires lead off to a battery. "This one would blow up a jeep or a pickup," Captain Mahmoud says, pointing to two devices that another rebel is taping together. "For tanks or armored vehicles, we use 6 to 8 bombs." The Dawood Brigade, he says, has some 300 fighters, and the Damascus Hawks Division, he claims, is around 8,000 strong, operating mostly in Idlib province. There is no way of confirming such claims. Mahmoud says his men are moderate Islamists fighting for democracy. "We want a democratically elected president and a military that is separate from the presidency," he says. Captain Mahmoud says they're getting no outside help, not from the leadership of the Free Syrian Army nor the Syrian National Council. "We're reliant on local donations and whatever we're able to capture from the Syrian military," he says. Their weapons? AK-47s, sniper rifles, automatic machine guns, and rocket-propelled grenades. No match for the Syrian military. "We're relying mostly on mines and on making bombs now," Captain Mahmoud explains. One of his units is just back from a mission. "We set up an ambush against Assad's army using IEDs," this fighter says, but they received intelligence about our plan and rerouted their convoy. Another fighter claims his group destroyed an armored vehicle. This is how the battle for Syria is now being fought. Protest has become insurgency, which in turn threatens to become all-out war. Arwa Damon, CNN, Beirut.